Tsarist Russia, ruled by the Romanov dynasty from 1613 to 1917, was a vast and complex country with a unique culture, history, and way of life. One of the earliest accounts of life in Russia comes from the diary of a German traveler, Adam Olarius, who visited the country in the 17th century. According to Olarius, Russia was a country of extremes, with vast expanses of wilderness punctuated by bustling cities and towns. Moscow, the capital, was a sprawling metropolis with narrow streets and tall, ornate buildings. The city was dominated by the Kremlin, a fortified complex that housed the Tsar's palace and the seat of government. Life in Moscow was a constant struggle for survival, with the harsh winters and lack of food and other necessities making life difficult for most of the city's inhabitants. Olarius noted that the streets were filled with beggars and that the people were generally poor and uneducated. Outside of Moscow, Olarius found a country that was still largely feudal in nature, with most of the land owned by the nobility and worked by serfs. The serfs were essentially slaves, bound to the land and forced to work for their masters in exchange for protection and a meager subsistence. Despite the poverty and hardship, Olarius found much to admire in Russia, particularly the country's rich cultural heritage. He was impressed by the ornate churches and monasteries, which he described as magnificent beyond belief, and the art and literature produced by the Russian people. Overall, Olarius' diary provides a fascinating glimpse into life in Tsarist Russia in the 17th century. While the country was marked by poverty, hardship, and a rigid social hierarchy, it was also a place of great beauty, culture, and history. Today, Russia remains a complex and fascinating country with a rich heritage and a unique place in the world.